One morning, Oliver was making his way along the Little Western to Anopa Quarry. He had been asked to take some trucks to Arlesborough Harbor so the men could repair one of its foundations.
I have a bad feeling about this. They say a storm's coming later today, and where we're running, we could be in for a rough time.
Never mind. We'll probably be back at Arlesborough before the storm even gets here. Nothing to worry about.
I wouldn't be too sure of that, Mr. Oliver. No disrespect or anything.
Toad. This island sees tons of cloudy days. Many of them not even having so much as a drop of rain. Honestly, you chums worry too much sometimes.
Soon, Oliver and Toad reached the quarry, only to find it in a complete mess.
Mavis? Have you got my trucks ready yet?
Hold your horses, Oliver. I'll have them ready in just a moment.
But that was easier said than done.
Knock it off!
But the trucks just laughed at her and stood their ground.
Mavis? If it means anything to you, I could get that train ready myself.
You would do that? For me?
Of course! Chuck aside, dear Mavis, and let a great Westerner show you how it's done.
And as soon as Mavis had crossed over the points to another line, Oliver puffed boldly towards the stubborn trucks.
All right, you troublesome lot, look sharp and come quietly. Unless you want to end up like Scruffy, that is.
Luckily, it just so happened that the trucks had heard about what had happened to Scruffy. And not wanting to be pulled apart themselves, they thought it best to oblige.
How did you get those trucks to behave so effortlessly? It usually takes me quite a while to get them under control. Especially on a day like today.
Nothing to it, really. Especially if you made an example of as many trucks as I have.
I'm sorry you had to see me like this. I'm not usually this, well, disorganized. But it's just, today, I was really longing to get out of the quarry and see the island for a change. I only get to go as far as Farquhar, and that's if Toby's busy elsewhere. Don't you ever wish to break out of routine every now and then?
More often than you'd believe. Now that you mention it, would you like to take the stone to our harbor?
Oliver, I'd love to! But who's going to sort out this mess? There's so much to do. I probably won't even have time.
You leave those troublemakers to me. Better that someone with a clear smoke box gets this place tidied up, so you, Mavis, can clear yours.
And I can tag along and help you keep the trucks in line.
Oh, thank you so much! You both have made me the happiest diesel on the whole of Sodor!
So the two engines asked their crews, and their crews spoke to the quarry manager. Once he agreed to the switch, Mavis backed down onto the train, ready for her journey to the seaside.
See you later, Mavis. In a while, Toad! Enjoy your trip to the seaside!
Unfortunately, he had forgotten about the impending storm, much less to warn Mavis about it.
Now this is what an engine needs. You know, Toad, you and the engines on that little western are very lucky to have such an amazing line.
Quite right, Miss Mavis. But you should see it when it's sunny. That's when the sights really shine, so to speak. Speaking of which, I think it'd be better if we stopped at Tidmouth Holt and headed back. I just remembered there's a big storm coming.
Go back to the quarry so soon? Stuff and nonsense! We still have a job to complete. Storm or no storm.
But the route to the harbour's on the coastline, right where the storm can do the most damage.
In that case, we'll just have to hurry. Why, at this rate, we might reach Arlesborough long before the storm hits.
Toad wasn't convinced, but he saw no point in arguing with Mavis any further, so he said nothing. Back at the quarry, Oliver was, at first, enjoying himself. As he shunted them into their proper sidings, the trucks gave him no trouble. But he grew hot and tired after a while, and his paint was becoming dustier and dustier. He was beginning to wonder how Mavis managed it all. At last, his driver took him to the water column for a nice long drink.
Toad!
Miss Mavis, I insist that we go back at once. It's not safe out here.
We're not that far from safety, so why stop now?
Does that answer your question?
The guard quickly phoned for help. Oliver was resting in the shed, fearing the worst for his friends.
Oliver! I just received bad news. Mavis is broken down. She's stranded just outside Alsborough. You must go and rescue her at once before she and her crew get washed away.
Oliver fought against the wind and rain as he went. And when he reached the coast, he was struggling to avoid the ocean waves so as not to get washed out himself.
Toad!
Mr. Oliver! Oh, Mr. Oliver! Thank goodness you've come!
I'm so sorry, Toad. This is all my fault. If I just remembered the storm was coming.
No, Oliver. It was my fault. I should have listened to Toad's warning.
But I should have remembered about the storm and not suggested that we...
This isn't the time for arguing! We have to get out of here! Fast!
But with a rather heavy train in front of him, including a failed Mavis, he couldn't go exactly as fast as Toad wanted him to.
doing it! You're doing it! Keep going! Keep going! Don't stop now!
And of course, Oliver didn't give up. He pushed and puffed and puffed and pushed as hard as his boiler could manage. But at last, they reached the shelter of the cutting. However, there was another problem.
You've run out of water. You'll have to put out your fire and call for another engine. And it would happen too after you pretty much strained yourself.
Not to mention that we didn't stop to fill it when we had the chance.
All Oliver, Mavis, and Toad could do was wait in the pouring rain till help arrived. But thankfully, they didn't have to wait long. Duck, warned by Control, came from the top station to collect the stranded train. Well, here's a sight I'd never thought I'd see. A fellow Great Westerner stranded with a washed-out diesel. Ah, well, better get you three out of the way. Got nothing better to do anyhow. But Duck soon found that moving two stranded engines and a heavy stone train was no laughing matter. Once they reached the yard, they uncoupled Mavis from the trucks, and he moved her into the shed. Then, he helped Oliver to the water column. Mavis had to stay in the yard for the night, until it was safe to be escorted to the works.
Thank you for coming to my rescue, Oliver. I thought for sure I'd get washed away, never to see dry land again.
Just thought I'd try and make up for my mistake.
What mistake? I was the one being careless, and you can guess what good that did me. Other than that, I had a lovely outing today, thanks to you. You could even say that you've done me 2 favors in one day.
Oliver smiled. While he was pleased to help his friend, he secretly hoped he wouldn't be the one switching places with her again anytime soon.